Welcome again to mabwear.bigmedia and another episode of Talk Keep Them Talking, where the conversation never ends. Let me first say a big up and a happy Veterans Day to all the brave men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Big up on yourself. I appreciate you guys a lot. Also, I must give a shout out to all those who have been giving me the views that I've asked for, the viewership. I must say thank you guys for all of what you've been doing for me to improve my channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep the likes coming, guys. Share and subscribe. Subscribe. Let's make this a bigger and better channel. All right. Now, with all the pleasantries out of the way, let me look at the issues at hand. So we all know that Thursday, November 14, is what we call the Battle Royal in Kingston, Jamaica, the most famous office, the National Stadium. And this is will be between the Reggae Boys and the Mighty Americans. Yep. The Reggae Boys and the Mighty Americans. Should I say the Reggae Boys and Captain America? Anyway, the Reggae Boys and the Mighty Americans. Now, I have about 5 things that I want to look at in this episode. And let me just get in what. One, we want to look briefly on the journey of both teams, the Reggae Boys and the U.S. national team, since the Copa America, the world famous tournament, most famous tournament. I just found that out recently, that the South American League, it is the oldest league in the world. Yep. Now, secondly, we want to look at the history between both teams, between Jamaica and the Reggae Boys. Thirdly, how each teams are comprised and how they stack up against each other. Fourthly, I want to give some expectation and some predictions. And fifth, there's something that I want to address regarding a statement that Coach McLaren made on the press conference. He made a statement, and I want to look a little bit into what was said. Okay, guys. Now, let's take a look at our opponents. Opponents? What do you mean opponents? Yes, I said opponents. Though I live here in the States, yes, I am a Jamaican first and always support the Reggae Boys. So yes, I consider them my opponents also. All right, guys. All right. So the US team coming into this game against the Reggae Boys, I believe the US team have a lot to prove after their dismal performance in the summer tournament, winning just 1 from 3 games. And I'm sure we all remember the crying and whining coming from the US camp as if, they were the only team to be eliminated from the tournament. Anyway, after that, we see them change their coach and bring in the inexperienced Argentinian Mauricio Pochettino, who wasted no time in getting his foot wet, making his debut against neighboring Canada with a 2-love victory over the Canadian. I believe that gave the Americans some moral booster and probably some vindication for coming out of the competition, the Commonwealth competition so soon. However, the honeymoon did not last very long. You know how football is; it's unpredictable, and so the next game they played in they took on their southern neighbor, the Mexican, who flipped the script on the Argentinian, giving him his first taste of an international defeat. The US lost 0-2 to the Mexican. So that was just giving you guys a brief view of the games played. You know, the US team played leading up to this point. So we all know that the battle between the US and the Reggae Boys have always been a keen affair. And the records indicate that also. Since, you know, the US have played the Reggae Boys 32 times since 1988. A significant moment, I might say, in the history of our little island. It was the year when the island was ravished by Hurricane Gilbert. Yep. Anyway, the US men's team they have come to the office about 10 times. 6 times of these 10 times, the games ended in a draw, in a stalemate. However, the US has the advantage, you know, a 3-1 advantage win over the Reggae Boys. But can the US make it 4? Or will the Reggae Boys cutting into the US advantage, making it an even more closer affair? We'll see. What do you think about that, though? Now, the Reggae Boys, on the other hand, played some lesser opponents, with the most impressive being the victory over Honduras in their own backyard. Yet, the return leg in Kingston, Jamaica, was anything but inspiring. Not inspiring one bit. Though we got a positive result out of the game. And I must say, people, unfortunately, this is what we have come to expect from the Reggae Boys, you know, over the years. Inconsistency. But we're hopeful that with this new coach, McLaren at the helm, you know, consistency is what we will see in our beloved Reggae Boys. Now let's look briefly at how both teams stack up against each other, starting with our opponent. The US team seems somewhat depleted due to injury and suspensions, missing some key personnel like defenders Sergio Des, Cameron Carter Vixen, players like Gio Reyna, Josh Sargent, Adji Wright. Let me say something about Adji Wright. This is a player that I personally like. He's 6'4". He is a big burly player. Has the speed. He is certainly a force in the front line. And this player, if the US has him, will certainly be some trouble to the Jamaican team. But I'm sure Steve McLaren is doing his homework, and he would employ the right strategies to deal with players like Adji Wright. Notably, though, Timothy Weah, the Juventus player, is suspended for this game. However, he will be available for the next game, the return leg. It would be remiss of me not to mention Mr. Dependable and the talisman, sometimes even the captain of the United States, Cristiano Pulisic. He is certainly in good form and ready and rearing to go. Also, so too is Weston McKennie. So we'll see what the US team has to bring. Now to our Reggae Boys. Unfortunately, they too have some critical pieces missing, the likes of Bobby Cordova Reed, said to be expecting a welcome addition to his family. I imagine congratulations are in order. Congratulations, sir. Next, we have Casey Palmer. They said that he is not playing as much. He's not getting enough game time in his club to get the call up for the Jamaican team. Mikel Antonio, Mr. Dependable where Jamaica is concerned, he's suspended for this game, but we should have Mikel for the returning leg in the United States. And drum roll, boom. Most people, a lot of people, based on what I'm seeing on the internet, especially Jamaican fans, it seems like they've fallen out of love with Leon Bailey. But however, Leon Bailey is making his return after 1 year hiatus from the Reggae Boys. Notably, he's struggling though with getting back into full fitness, but I believe that it's certainly a welcome addition to the team. And last but not least, we have Big Bowser returning. Shamar Nicholson also returning after a short break. You know, he took a break to tweak a few things. So we expect to see Shamar running. We heard that he's firing on all cylinders. So much is being expected, especially from Leon Bailey and Shamar Nicholson in this game due to the absence of Mikel Antonio. Okay, so that was looking at the Jamaican team and how they would stack up against their American opponents. All right. Now, for probably the last thing on my agenda, it's time for our expectation and predictions. Starting with the American team, I must say I don't think in this game on Tuesday the US team has any great expectation, especially seeing that they are not at full strength. So I think the expectation in this game for the US will be somewhat a little tempered. You know, I would be surprised if they went out, all out to win this game. All right, so I believe that the US team is going to come out, play in a conservative way, as they always do. Over the years, watching Jamaica, US, especially when US goes to the office, they've always played in a very conservative way because they always depend on their home game, that return leg, where they come out blazing. And to be honest with you guys, they have always delivered. I must say that. They have always delivered. So I believe that the US team will come to Kingston, Jamaica, looking for a positive result. Now we've come to the Reggae Boys. My expectation, and let me say, guys, I have great expectation, not just for the boys playing on the field, but also for the whole Reggae Boy organization. I mean, the JFF. I want to see them ramping up the support, making the event a family event, affordable and as attractive rather as possible to draw in the patron. As for the players, I believe it's their responsibility to put a good performance on the field to keep the patrons and the watchers engaged, so that they'll get all the support needed. And we want to see the boys play with some pride. If we're going to defend the office, we want to see the guys playing with some pride. We don't want to see US outplay with totally. We want some good, attractive football. All right, guys. Now, with all of that said, we're down to my predictions. Now, given that both teams are not at full strength, however, on paper, for me, the Reggae Boys look the stronger team. However, I can't put my finger on any one player who is in sparkling form. When we look at the senior players, are the players who we expect much from, most of them are either coming off injury or just coming back trying to find their form, struggling, and to get into form. However, if I was supposed to pick a team to win this game, I would side with the Reggae Boys because of, on paper, how they look. Not trying to be biased, not trying to be irrational, you know what I mean? But, you know, um, playing at home should count for something. You know what I mean? And playing before your fans should light some fire under your foot. Give you the impetus to come out and put that performance on the field. And I believe that if we do that, you know what I mean, and play with the pride that I speak about and the patriotism, then I believe that we can be the victors on on Thursday. You know what I mean? However, where a draw is concerned, which is also a positive result, I don't think that a draw would be a positive result in our favor. You know what I mean? Because America now, US now, would have the advantage going back for the return game. So I believe that for us, we can't play too conservative. We have to come out and play the game, take the game to the US team, and hopefully, we end up with more than just a positive result. Now, finally, guys, the last thing on my agenda. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Reggae Boys press conference that was held to announce the squad. Now, the coach said a few interesting things that I picked up on. And something he said, and something also that he said prior to this press conference. He mentioned he's in constant communication with Mason Greenwood, the player. And that from his standpoint, player is very enthusiastic about the prospects of donning the green, black, and gold of the Jamaican colors. However, at the same time, he's saying that the player has been through a lot, and at this time, he's concentrating on club football, concentrating on trying to solidify himself in Marseille, you know what I mean, getting probably some good publicity behind his back. But how does this help Jamaica? How does this help Jamaica? Coach McLaren went further to say that he hopes that by March next year, the player would have sorted out everything and ready to go. Guys, I don't know. For me, I think there's a lot of hesitation. It seems as if the coach, who was almost 100% sure that Mason wanted to play, now is just hanging on to hope. He's just being hopeful. All right, I don't know what you guys think about that. What you guys think about that? Now, the next statement that the coach made was along the line saying that it wasn't in that press conference, but it was before that press conference that he said that players who are English born, who has the age, and when he say has the age, he means players that are young, who can probably wait out probably this upcoming World Cup, you know what I mean, they should play the waiting game. And I was like, I don't understand, you know what I mean? Because why is he saying that? But it got me thinking, and I've said, probably not here, but probably elsewhere, what my views about Steve McLaren is, you know what I mean? I believe that Steve McLaren has great aspiration, in football, not just in Jamaica, but also in his homeland in England. And this Jamaican project, is the proverbial golden egg scenario to propel him, Steve McLaren, into the positions that he would love. You know what I mean? So for me, I was not so surprised. I'm not so surprised that he made such a statement. You know what I mean? His greatest ambitions, I would believe, is to coach at a higher level in England. Now, for me, what I expect of the coach is I expect commitment, not necessarily loyalty. It's sometimes we expect loyalty from people, but the reality is that they have their loyalty elsewhere. You know what I mean? And this statement that he made showed us that he is first loyal to his homeland, England. And so therefore he's advising players, you know what I mean, that they should, if they have the age, they should wait for the opportunity to play for England. So therefore, but the reality of it is that, yes, I understand that, and I understand the desire of most of those players wanting to play for their homeland. But for players who have the opportunity to play for countries outside, like Jamaica, the reality is that there's only so much space. There are not much opportunity our chances to make the English team. Especially, the reality is that especially for, the black players, you know what I mean? So, but as I said, I expect total professionalism and commitment from the coach, but not necessarily loyalty. You understand me? And this Mason Greenwood thing, to be honest, people, as the days and months and go on, I'm becoming less optimistic and more pessimistic about the idea of having Mason Greenwood represent Jamaica. I don't know. You tell me what you have to say. This is a good talking point. And we're on talking. I'm talking. You know what I mean? Hope I've stimulated your thoughts and just keep it going. So, guys, remember, like, share, and subscribe to mabwear.bigmedia. Big up on yourself. Wow.